Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Declan, for those few kind words. Very few kind words indeed. I knew when I asked Declan to propose the toast to the captain that I was taking a risk. I didn't realise just how much of a risk I was taking. That's possibly very close to my training in AIB, where most of my colleagues didn't realise the risks they were taking either most of the time. But that's another story. Declan, thank you very much for the preparation you've done on proposing the toast to the captain. I know you're very fond of bow ties, and we have a new bow tie here in the club. And I notice you're wearing the old tie tonight, so I'd like to present you with a bow tie of the new variety for the castle. And thank you again for your kind words.
Well done.
I'd also like to thank Ronan McDermott for his very fine rendition of the Holy City at the start of the evening. Thank you, Ronan. Now, gentlemen, you can decide yourselves when I started speaking. President of the Golfing Union, Kevin. Chairman of Leinster Golf, John. President Ronan. Fellow captains, Vice Captain Barry, gentlemen. What a fantastic year we have had at Castle. If we had sat down last January and set targets for ourselves, we would now be congratulating ourselves on how much we had exceeded those targets by. It is a measure of how far we have come as a club that many of us feel somewhat disappointed that we did not make history by winning the elusive Senior Cup, Junior Cup double in the modern era. Nevertheless, it has been a great year. To win Leinster pennants in both the Senior and Junior Cups, taking a green pennant in the Junior Cup, and losing an All-Ireland final on the 19th hole in the deciding match in the Senior Cup is no mean achievement. Our ladies also managed to capture a pennant in the Junior Cup in East Leinster and also reached the All-Ireland final, where they were defeated by our nemesis Castle Troy. Before going on to more serious matters, I want to mention a couple of things. Firstly, as has been said, I'm a Sing Street boy. So is my friend and colleague from the Grange, Donald Bollard. Chernuer and Mary's boys, please take note. In fact, I'm the third Sing Street boy in 4 years to captain this great club. We, collectively, have delivered 4 pennants, been in 3 All-Ireland finals, winning 1. In point of fact, the 4 pennants were collected by just 2 of us, but Brian Evan insisted that I include Mick Bollard as he was deflected by centenary celebrations. If any group of Chernuer or Mary's boys can match that, please let me know in the bar afterwards. As has been, there have been 4 members of the Williams family who have served as captain or lady captain of this club, and a 5th, my brother David, who was captain in Arklow in 2004. Just let your mind wander for a minute. It's Christmas 2018 and the Williams family have gathered for a get-together. I casually posed the question, what happened in your year? Or then, maybe I should wait until the Williams Brothers 4-ball on St. Stephen's Day. We're on the 3rd green. John has a slippery downhill left to right 8-footer for a half. I asked David if he can remember what happened in his year. John's putt narrowly misses. He looks up, and before he goes to retrieve his putter from the bushes the far side of the 4th tee, he explains in language not often heard in Parliament that what happened this year has precious little to do with me. He may be right, of course, but then I am the captain, and I did get to pick the generals, some of them very lucky generals. Maybe Napoleon was right. Enough of that nonsense. Reflecting on what happened during the year, it is worth mentioning a number of events. Firstly, we had the pleasure of hosting the Great Britain and Ireland Curtis Cup team for 4 days in early June. We all enjoyed their company and their golfing skill. Our men's senior cup team played them in a match off the same tees and with no shots given. We managed to win by 3-1, with all matches going to the 18th. Hard luck, Dan. Hard luck, Stephen. This workout was obviously significant as the later performance of both teams showed. Billy Johns, never one to miss a trick, even took Elaine and Helen, team captain and team manager, into Coppers for some late night fun and frolics. Both Elaine and Helen were highly complimentary of our course and our practice facilities. Towards the end of June, we hosted the Irish Boys Amateur Open Championship. This event attracted a large entry from the UK and France, as well as Ireland. During that week, it was mentioned to me that we must have a good junior programme, as we had 3 of our young members competing in the championship. On one of the days, I was at the first tee when Peter McAvoy, twice amateur champion, 5-time Walker Cup player, who also made the cut in the 1978 Masters, came over to me and said, "Captain, your course is immaculate, and as for the greens," he was highly impressed. In his remarks at the conclusion of the championship, Golfing Union President Kevin McIntyre made reference to the quality of our course, to our junior golf programme, and to the welcome which we extended to our guests during the tournament. Thank you, Kevin, for those kind remarks. Finally, the Father and Son was a great success again this year and showcased both our course and our welcoming culture. It was won by Jody and Harry Flanagan from Milltown. During a speech at the presentation, Jody specifically asked that I pass on to our course superintendent his view that our greens were tour quality. Our course superintendent Paul Fitzgerald and his team deserve our thanks and appreciation for the way they have presented the course throughout the year. I don't want Paul and the lads to get a swelled head, so I'm not going to say any more about the course tonight. I think that tonight it's appropriate to reflect on where we are as a club and on how far we have come. For me, there are 4 major initiatives that contribute to our development as a competitive, unified and friendly golf club, and which have contributed directly to the collection of silverware and pennants which are on display here this evening. Let's start by going back 25 years to 1991. We, at that time, began to take seriously the first item in the Memorandum of Association which our founders adopted. And that was that the purpose for which the club was founded was the development of the game of golf. We started to focus on junior golf. We elected as a juvenile member a pudgy young lad who could play pitch and putt. That was Jim Mulready. Jim Jim has gone on to win our club championship on 10 occasions, and for many, many years, until a younger generation have taken over, he was the talisman which all of us aspired to be in the club. Well done, Jim, and thank you for your contribution. We also started organised coaching for our younger members. The first sign of success came in 1997, almost 20 years ago, with the Leinster Youth title. We also had some individual success along the way, with the likes of Brendan Meany and Maurice Wallace wearing the green jersey as schoolboys. At the turn of the millennium, a far-seeing committee addressed the matter of equality in golf. Significant and very astute changes to our constitution were proposed and adopted by the members. These resulted in Castle having a unified club structure with one management team, one budget and a greatly improved club atmosphere. For many of us, the arrival of women in the members' bar also greatly improved matters. We then turned our mind to our golf course. And another far-seeing committee persuaded the members that we should begin to develop it to 21st century standards. We embarked on an ambitious project to redesign our greens complexes. We planted 1 or 2 trees, and we put a huge focus on quality and on making our course more challenging. The last initiative was the development of the Valley course and the Valley practice facility. This, I believe, has been a major contributing factor to our competitive success. Quite a journey, I think you'll agree, over the past 25 years. There are many of you here tonight who played a part in these initiatives, whether that was supervising 12-year-olds at 7:30 on a Monday morning, managing or playing on a team as we built our capability, conceiving and developing the course improvement plan, participating on one of our numerous committees, developing the financial structures we needed to pay for the developments, or overseeing the equality agenda. You can all feel proud of your contribution and of the impact your involvement has had on our team and individual successes this year. Thank you all for your contribution. Change is never easy. There is a natural inertia in a club like ours. Leaders with vision and the correct motivation and interest are priceless. Of course, there are two ways we can go, forwards or backwards. Standing still is not an option. That will mean we are going backwards. We must continue to develop and upgrade our facilities and the golfing skills of our members. I'm confident that future committees will keep their eyes on the ball in this regard. Our facilities are looked after on a day-to-day basis by a staff of over 20 people who work across a range of areas: catering, caddy masters, professional shop, bar, office, and as already mentioned, our course. To all who work here and who give dedicated service and a true castle welcome to both members and guests, I say a heartfelt thank you. Your contribution ensures that we members, our guests and visitors enjoy our leisure time in the club. A particular thanks goes to those who are looking after us this evening, those who cooked and served our meal, and those who are continuing to ensure that we will not be thirsty. Thank you. Our club is guided by a number of members who serve on various committees. Their efforts play a big ongoing part in how this club works and succeeds. These volunteers seek no limelight and work for the love of their club. We owe them all a debt of gratitude for their efforts. Thank you all. I want to mention three people who retire from office this year and who have each given up their time for the benefit of the club. Our President, Ronan, will step down in December. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you for your inputs and for your good humour during your time as President, which has coincided with my time as Vice Captain and Captain. Thank you. Derek Page, our Finance Director, has managed our finances for the past 3 years and has been both cautious and diligent. Just what is needed in that job. Derek, your contribution is greatly appreciated by all of us members. Jim Pender has continued to develop and enlarge on the role of Chairman as the key role in managing the business affairs of the club. His knowledge and understanding of both golf and the culture of the castle has ensured that this club continues to be managed in an effective and friendly manner for the benefit of all. Thank you, Jim. I want to turn now to the playing of the game and to firstly mention some individual performance highlights. Our first major, the St. Patrick's Cup, was won by the wizard of the broom handle putter, John Sheridan. John sends his apologies tonight. He has a family anniversary celebration, which means he can't be with us. The Bailey Cup was won by Michael Neary, who was followed in the next major, our President's Prize, by the ever-young Ted Murphy, who at 84 years of age is playing off a handicap in the teens. Congratulations to the three of them. The Captain's Prize, as already mentioned, was won by Brian O'Mara, who won exactly 60 years after his father Jimmy won J.C. Marks Prize in 1956. Congratulations, Brian. And I'm delighted to have you here tonight as my guest. Our club champion is Rob Moran, who defeated Ross McKeever in the final last Sunday by 2-1. Rob was unable to be with us tonight as, having been recently called into the Irish boys panel, he is away on a golfing union coaching weekend, as Barry had mentioned. I would like to wish Rob every success, and we all look forward to him gaining his first international cap. the end of March, over the Easter weekend, the West of Ireland Amateur Championship was held as usual in County Sligo Golf Club. I watched the progress of Castle players with interest, and when Dan Holland reached the penultimate day, I began to make travel plans. Al Murray, Hilary Hayden and myself set off very early on Tuesday morning and arrived in Ross's Point as Dan was walking to the first tee in the semi-final, which he won. He was narrowly beaten by Jonathan Yates in the final. His speech as beaten finalist was outstanding, showed true sportsmanship and character, and made me very proud as captain of his club. Dan went on to reach the semi-final of the South of Ireland Championship, which all of us apart from Hilary Hayden missed because we were in Tullamore supporting our junior cup team. It is worth mentioning that Dan did all this while studying for a master's degree in UCD. Well done, Dan. The undoubted highlight of the year from an individual perspective was Alex Gleeson's victory in the Irish Amateur Close Championship. Just as in the West, I watched the progress of Castle players, and this time I set off with Barry McConville on a rather longer trip to Ballyliffin to watch Alex in his semi-final. He defeated Peter Kerr from Portrush by 1 hole and then went on to beat John Ross Galbraith, the 2014 champion, by 2-1 in the final. He smiled his way through the whole day, even when under the most severe pressure. His sportsmanship and the spirit in the matches was no less than we have come to expect. Alex was also a member of the Triple Crown winning home international team for the 2nd year running. He is now the leading amateur golfer in the country. Congratulations, Alex. Well done and continued success. Team golf. We at Castle take team golf very seriously. Preparations for 2017 have already started, and this time last year was no different. I won't go through the performance of every team, as Conor Agnew will publish the definitive record in our annual report, but I do want to pick out some highlights. The year started back in February when our super seniors began their round-robin series in places such as Forest Little and Baltinglass. Having played 25 games, we narrowly missed qualifying. If we had turned one loss into a win, we would have been in the quarter-finals. Clearly, Martin Keane has some talent there, and I look forward to success in this very important event in the years to come. We reached the county final, which sounds like a grand thing, in the JB Car, only to come unstuck against our near neighbours, Milltown. Congratulations, Peter. The defence of our Barton Cup title was a spirited one. We reached the 4th round before succumbing to Lucan on the 19th hole, a scenario which was to be repeated in other competitions. In the Jimmy Brune Shield, we were beaten by Newlands on the 19th hole in the final of sectional qualifying. Newlands also emerged victorious in our 3rd round clash in the Metropolitan Cup, again in sudden death. And they also beat us in the final of the Dick Walsh Trophy. In the Barton Shield, we qualified only to be defeated by Greystones in our 1st round match in a very late turnaround, Greystones holding from 70 yards for eagle on 17. A recurring theme this year was that we seemed to lose the clubs where my good friends and former colleagues were serving as captains. But we did turn it around against Newlands in the Senior Cup. More about that later. I want to thank all our team managers, our team's coordinator Conor Agnew, and all the players for their commitment and performances during the year. Competing in inter-club team golf brings a vibrance to club life. Thank you, everyone. I've saved the best news until close to the finish. Our Senior Cup campaign started in Ellen Park, continued in Laytown and Bettystown, and concluded on the 19th hole of a close-fought match against County Sligo Golf Club in the All-Ireland final at Carton House. It was a very good campaign, ably managed for the first time by Brendan Meany. With great commitment being shown by each of our squad members. Thank you, lads, so close. We have been in 2 All-Ireland finals in the past 5 years. I feel we will win the Senior Cup again before the end of the decade. So good luck, lads. In the Junior Cup, we finally went all the way and defeated Lurgan Golf Club in the All-Ireland final. Along the way, we had lots of excitement in Corstown, Tullamore and in Carton House. This team seemed to specialise in thrill-seeking golf, culminating in that magnificent 8-iron from Tommy Smith, followed by a glorious tramliner to clinch the top. Well done, team and managers. This brings me to our vice-captain and double jobber as Junior Cup team manager, Barry McConville. Barry, you did a fantastic job with the Junior Cup, ably assisted by Fergal Walsh. Thank you for that. You were also at my side throughout the year, giving me excellent support, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you. Gentlemen, I'm totally confident that Barry will be a great captain for this club in 2017, and I wish him every success for his year. To our lady captain and our husband Al, thank you for your support, friendship and sense of fun over the past 2 years. I suspect we will remain friends for life. To my brothers David, Aidan and John, thank you for your support and camaraderie this year and in previous years, and I am looking forward to the Christmas four-ball. To my sons and daughters Stephen, Claire and Kevin, and to my daughters-in-law Gwen and Betnaz, thanks for being yourselves and for continually bringing me back down to earth. Lastly, to my best friend, past lady captain and wife of 41 years, Sheila, thanks for always being there, washing, ironing, cooking, cleaning and driving. But most importantly, advising, guiding and even consoling. I could not have done it without her support. Before I finish, I would like to have a moment of personal reflection. Next January, I will celebrate the 50th anniversary of my election as a member of this club. I will also mark the 50th anniversary of the death of my father, Brendan. I caddied for him many times, played with him a few times, and I can always remember the first time I had a par playing with him. It was on the 8th hole in Rush in about 1963. I have very fond memories of him. My mother encouraged me to remain in the club, as Declan has already mentioned, when I would have left because it was full of old farts. Now here I am, the chief old fart. She was a great lady. Declan was right. Thanks, Dada. Thanks, Mama. I hope you're happy up there, and I hope you think I did a half reasonable job. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the evening.